People are loyal to teams for sure, but way more people are loyal to just players because they know them. People like Dashy because he's funny. It's not just the fact that he's on Optic. I mean, that is definitely part of it, but he would still have a loyal fan base if he went and played for Thieves or FaZe or whoever. It's just based around the personality, but you see his personality all the time.
What's the point of coming into a league if you're not trying to win? It all starts off with how the CDL was built. It's not fair to these new orgs coming in when you can only afford the bare minimum. Like, you get the scraps. Model is invest in a coach, a very good coach, like a slasher, someone that's won, and tell them, who do you want? Give me 4 players, form the best team that you can. That's like your best way of balancing, all right, produce content and potentially being that Vancouver Surge, upsetting big teams. Welcome everyone to episode 286 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
We're doing all right. It's a rainy day here. I don't know if you got it by you, but I woke up and it was kind of gray, a little rainy, and then it was like straight downpour. And then I got this notification on my phone. They're like, massive flood warning. Do not leave unless you absolutely have to. And I was like, what you talking about? It's not even that bad. And then I looked outside and it was crazy. There was like massive rivers running around in my complex. So immediately hopped on the toy. I was like, it's the perfect day to be just playing COD.
Yeah.
To start the day off, I was like, let me make my coffee. Let me just do that, get that rolling. But yeah, there is definitely something about it, like a rainy day to be playing video games. Like the mood just is, it's definitely prime time to be doing that. If it's really nice out in the morning, I'm not always thinking like, oh yeah, that's the first thing I should do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It was pouring by me. It was raining like in the morning pretty hard. And then when I got to work, it was just pouring the entire time. But by the time I left, it was good.
Yeah. I didn't even think, yeah, right. It's not raining right now, but right before we started recording, it was starting up again. It was crazy. So I don't know. I think tomorrow's supposed to be a better day, so that'll be a nice change of pace, you know. But
yeah, I just the rain's much needed, but it just makes everything so humid the next day. Like outside sucks right now. But yeah, when it rains, I get so tired. It's good for playing video games. Definitely a good weather for it, but just doing anything else, no motivation to do anything.
Yeah, I felt like a bum in the morning. I'm like, I got stuff that I need to do, but I'm just looking outside. I'm like, I'm like, I don't want to go outside right now. And I check my phone, and they're like, oh, it's gonna break at 11. I'm like, okay, I'll make a dash for it at 11. They said it's gonna start up at 12. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I'm gonna be caught out. I'm gonna be caught out in this. Like, this ain't ideal. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I do agree though. I hate it because I wouldn't mind if it was 60 degrees. Well, 60 is pretty crazy low, but like 65, you know, somewhere around there where it cooled down quite a bit. But when I go out there, I feel disgusting. You know, it's just so humid and gross out. And yeah, that's like the worst thing for me ever is dealing with humidity. You know, if it's hot, you know, like 90, but it's a dry heat, I'll take that. But if it's 85, 90 and it's humid, forget about it.
Yeah, it'll even out, I think, the rest of the week. But right now, it's just been so hot and humid.
Yeah. Well, it is a time we're doing this. This is what, August 3rd. I mean, it is crazy to think that I do start school back up again this month. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But my friends and I were talking about it. We're like, dude, we still got the whole month. We got plenty of time. That's why I'm trying to trick myself into saying that. But no, I will look forward to when it's end of August going into September, because the weather there for me, like end of August going into October, maybe beginning of November, that's prime time weather. Like, I love that. I love when it's still sunny out and kind of nice, but it could be 60 degrees, 65 degrees. Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, this summer, for whatever reason, it just has flown by. But I think everyone says that every single year. It's true. The older you get, the faster the summers go. And I don't even, like, I forget that people have school. I'm never thinking about it. So when you always say, oh, yeah, I have school, I'm like, what? What do you mean? And then like same with kids or whatever. So obviously a lot of people, they take the week before school starts or the week after school's out. I'm like, why are so many people out? And then I realized, oh wait, yeah, people are actually at school like, doing stuff. So the week right before everyone's going back to school, like dude, everyone's out. They're probably taking all their vacations, getting their last minute, trips in right before school starts back up again.
Yeah.
That week's just a ghost town for everyone.
And you notice too, like when I go to the gym there at the beginning of the summer, yeah, forget slammed. Everybody's
Yeah,
there. But like going today, it's starting to slowly die
yeah.
out. I'm like, okay, these people are all going back to wherever, or they're like
Mhm.
too busy getting ready for the next school year. They're traveling, going back to wherever. That's the other sign too. But yeah, you lose track of time like that when you're not in it at all. It's like
I
you have no
there
reason to.
there's so many times where people ask me like what day it is. I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know what the date is. I know it's probably this day, but I'm like, I know it's not the weekend yet. But I'm just going through the motion, and I look at the calendar and realize it's already August. It's already the next month. It's the next month.
Well, dude, I'm glad you say that because yesterday when we were texting to do like future episodes, you're like, wait, so you're saying you can't do this day? And I was like,
Mhm.
oh shit. I was like, I totally forgot today's Sunday. Like for
Mhm.
some reason, I was just bugging out and getting my days wrong. Cause yeah, again, if you're, you're doing your thing, sometimes
Mhm.
stuff like that, you just don't even think about it. It just
Yeah, you
goes
just go.
by.
You're going with the motion, going through the
Yeah.
motions, and not thinking about anything really.
Yeah. No, and to your point too, it is crazy how fast it goes by. I was seeing I mean we'll talk about it later with like EWC, but a lot of those guys, or I think most of them, they might already be out there.
Mhm.
In Riyadh for the grand finals, for the last tournament of the year. And they're
Paris.
like, "Oh, yeah." They're like, "Oh, yeah, thank you. Sorry." And they're like, "Yeah, did my last online scrim and everything." And I'm just thinking like, "Damn. Like BO7's already done." And these guys are
Mhm.
just saying like, "Dude, this year flew by." Like that's another year in the books for these guys competing. And then you look back and you're thinking like, "Yeah, dude, I've been competing for 5, 6 years." And you think you're still just kind of a rookie, but it's
Mhm.
been going on. And some of these guys have been in it, like Clay. I remember he tweeted about it. It's like been in this for over a decade. Like it's nuts where the time goes.
Yeah, it just goes by so quick when you're just thinking about 1 month at a time. I mean, we were at the optic major back in January.
Yeah.
January. And now it's August. So this is EWC is coming up this weekend, and then it's Black Ops 7 season is over, and then we're
That's it.
probably not going to hear honestly anything uh, until roster mania, but we probably won't hear really anything until MW4 beta.
No.
Um, Granted, and that's coming in 2 weeks from the time that we're recording. The beta is going to be out, so EWC is going to be over. We have a week, and then beta comes out. So there's going to be a lot of chatter about the MW4 beta, and I'm sure after EWC 2, these players are already talking about team changes and whatever. It's just a matter of when are they going to announce it, and I'm sure they're probably going to wait until towards the end or towards the beginning of the MW4 season. But it'll be interesting to see because I expect a lot of roster changes to happen. And like even going into EWC, I haven't seen COD in so long. Like I've forgotten that. Like what is Breach like right now? What is C9 like? You just haven't
Well,
seen them play for so long.
yeah, I mean that's true, and I'm hoping that this time away from the game, or at least just from competing, since they didn't get to go to champs, um, I hope they've been in the lab and they've been working hard, and they're actually going to show up and do something.
Mhm.
Particularly for Breach, I don't really know where. I don't think they're going to make any massive strides, honestly, but I'm just hoping that they don't completely bottom out. And just come out flat. I'd like to see some life from that team because it does seem like I didn't even put it on our notes. I just remembering it now. We had talked about it a little bit. Um, it looks like this may be the last year of the breach. It's
Mhm.
not confirmed yet, but seeing that there's a lot of news talking about them and other people that like other teams that are coming in to buy that spot, it does seem like this is actually going to happen. I know there's been rumors in the past, but this does seem a lot more real. So this may be the last time that we ever see the Boston Breach name in the CDL. And if that's the case, I'm sad as fuck, dude. Like it's gonna be tough to see
Yeah,
that.
it was a good. I want to say it was 4 years, a good 4 year run with
Yeah,
the
they started in
Breach.
Vanguard.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. I mean, the we heard rumors last year too, and obviously the management and stuff has changed a lot since you know when they first entered the league, and um, it's just really different over there now. And we've seen all the changes, like physically the changes. So we'll see. I mean, rumors are they're trying to sell the spot for the number that's been thrown around is $1 million, and obviously, if you look at that, oh yeah, that's a steal. But then you think about, well, they got in when it was 20. So that immediately red flag, like why? Why are you selling this spot? But yeah, I'm hoping that if they do sell it, they sell it to like Barstool. I know right now Dave Portnoy's him and Kraft are buddy buddy. They're super close. I mean, that'd be awesome. But also from Dave's perspective, he's like, we won a championship and we made no money.
Right.
So, well what is this? What's happening here? There. So, I just think the COD ecosystem is built for content, and that's a way to make money and eventually be profitable is to produce content, and then the league is there to help support it. Which Barstool, I mean, they already have the community. They have that. It's there. It's like Optic going into another esport. They already have content built out, and then they can just throw those players right in. Barstool could easily do the same thing, but it's a matter of is it even worth it for them? Like this is probably pennies to them. The squeeze isn't there for them.
Right. And I mean, you have to look too at like where they were in the amateur scene. And I know there was a whole bunch of stuff with Dave and Jersey Jerry, you know, going back and forth about how yeah, they're not making any money off of this and it's not really like producing a lot for Barstool, but within the COD community, they have done so much. And they've really done it right. It is crazy to me that that team has come in just because of the background of like what they know with content as Barstool. They've come in and done so much more than the vast majority of these professional teams, and they've built the name around those people. Like the fact that you even know who Jersey Jerry is, like the owner of the team or like the manager of the team, and you know those players and you see the content that they put out, you can't say that for a lot of the CDL teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they would do so much good for the CDL if they came in. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is a business, you know, like it would be good for the morale and for, you know, the fan base, but are they going to be profitable in there? You know, that's tough because pretty much all these teams, barring I think Optic and Phase, maybe Thieves, but Optic and Phase are probably the only two that are actually profitable in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, look at both of those two teams. They're built around content. So,
Right,
and it's very clear if Barstool came in, it's great for the scene. What's a benefit for Barstool though? To be in the
right,
scene? Like, not really. They could easily just not be in the scene and be fine. I mean, they're Barstool.
yeah,
There's way more upside for the COD scene, and so hopefully they do come in to help out the scene. But I mean, yeah, like the formula is there. I mean, look at Breach. They came in right. They came in and they did everything right until the end because they lost all funding,
hmm
and they had watch parties. They did way more than the majority of teams like in this league currently, outside of like Optic, Phase, and Thieves. But Breach hosted two majors. They did watch parties. They had a legit facility where fans could go.
hmm
They engaged with their fans. They like brought us out. Like they cared about their fan base and they did everything right and they made a bunch of content, but they lost all their funding.
right.
And once that happens, I mean, people are starting to get cut at that point, and the content falls. And it just shows you can't just keep throwing money at this thing, because they were doing it. It's just a matter of you got to grow your fan base somehow, and you can't just keep throwing money at it. But also to stay in the scene at this point, like you need funding. You need like
Yeah.
a lot of funding.
Yeah, and that's where the debate for them and with any team that's coming in, like they had a couple of, I think there was two rumored orgs um, that were going to be buying that Boston spot, and I don't believe they were like massive organizations. Um, and a lot of people are wondering, it's like, okay, well, if they're not some huge org like Hastro's org that's coming in that's going to buy like Envy or anything like that, one, do they really know the space that well? And then two, when they come in, are they really prepared to be putting in the work to actually grow as an org for the long term? You know, because in those bottom spots there, more often than not, you're going to assume that, yeah, they're going to come in, they're going to have, average players or like, mid to low tier players, probably not do that much. And yeah, because they're not getting the results, the funding's going to go down, and then we're kind of back to square one. Um, and that's what was so difficult about Breach because it was very promising at the beginning. But just like you had said, look where we are now, and if any team is going to come in and try to, do what they did at the beginning of it and stick with it for the long haul, I mean, I commend them, but they're really banking on Call of Duty and the CDL being around for the long term, which that's a whole debate. Like, who really knows if this model that they have right now is going to be here in the next 5 years, or are they going to go to something else?
Mhm.
Because to your point earlier, yeah, it is a major red flag when the initial buy-in was 20 million. Now, obviously, no one's paid that, but now to see that that spot was originally valued at 20 million and is now valued at 1 million
Mhm.
is crazy, and a million's still a lot,
Mhm.
for what you're getting, but that's the gamble I guess you're taking. If you're going to spend $1 million to get that spot, you must you must really think that this is going to be like you're going to be in this for the long haul, and
Yeah,
I hope they are.
and that's what COD needs. So I think because of the CDL of how inflated it got, the reason why Call of Duty was sustainable before was because these payouts and what players were making weren't outrageous. Like the outside of that, like yeah, this is awesome for the players. Like you're getting paid like really good money. But even before, people are making still good money, but I would say like the 60 to 100K mark was like that's really good money for them. Now you're seeing players get paid way more than that,
Right.
and that just makes it even harder for these orgs. Like, yes, you have to negotiate salaries, but then on top of that, you might need to host a major. You gotta fly all these players out. Back in the day, not saying they should only get paid like $500 a month. Like you can't really live off of that. Like you got to
Right.
deal with other stipends, but um, it was more manageable. You could grow the scene that way. Whereas now, if you're a new org trying to come in, it's like, dude, you're probably out like at least a million, like for the
Oh
whole
yeah.
year, minimum a million, like just off salaries, contracts, and then flying players out. And then say you host a major or something, like yeah, you're spending a lot of money, but the people coming in, they have to be okay and they truly believe the product that it's going to succeed. We don't want people coming in here and being like, "Oh yeah, we're not in for the long haul. We're in here to come in
Of
and then
course.
try to bail out." That just won't work. But right now, I only see two options. If I was an investor, it's either you come in, you're in the bottom four, one of the bottom four teams. You can't get any of these top players, and you know that throwing money at this doesn't work because at the end of the day, it's a business, and your goal is to grow the scene, but also make money so the scene can keep growing. And it's option one. You come in, you do, a minimum 50, 60K salary, whatever you need to do, or even 30K, and then you make these guys, like you pay for all their housing and stuff. Um, and you're not going to get the best of the best players. But now you make content. You have to build that revenue stream up somehow to make content and get your team out there and make your players like likable. Option
Yeah.
two, you say fuck all that and you come in and try to get a team, make no content, and your goal is to solely win. Okay, how does that help the CDL though? And how does that help you?
Right.
as an owner. It doesn't. And then the fans will say, get this fucking org out of here. They're not doing anything for the league. How the fuck are you supposed to come in when you have Optic, FaZe, Thieves, the Titans, and they're paying them like insane amount of money, and you know you're never going to get those players, and that's no fault to those orgs because they can afford it, but they set the market.
Mhm.
Your These new orgs coming in, they're not going to be able to get any of those guys, and you got to hope that you build a Seattle or a Vancouver Surge for young rookies that just work together perfectly, and then you sell them, and then you restart again, and those are the really only two options that I see. But you have to come into the league and most likely deal with fans saying you guys don't try hard enough, you can't do this. It's like I hate seeing that in chat because people say that about Breach. I'm like, dude, they fucking tried.
Oh,
They
yeah.
really did try. I mean, they signed Methods, signed TJ in the beginning. You get these household names. They signed Slasher. They signed Priesta. They tried for a while, and they hosted two majors. And we literally watched them close the doors on their facility. It's like
Yeah.
they're throwing so much money, and for what? The best placing Breach got was third at champs, which is awesome. But how are you supposed to sustain that? Because they were making content, but it's so hard to start from ground zero where Optic and FaZe, like their ground zero was back in 2011 and they
Right.
built that audience. Like you and I watch the Breach content, great content, but now you have to like get everybody else that's an Optic fan, FaZe fan, these fan to like come over and like watch your stuff. But meanwhile, you're throwing like hundreds of thousands of dollars away every year. That's
Yeah,
not
and you're
sustainable.
and you're not recouping it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Yeah, the way that Breach had come in with, like, yeah, having Methods in there and having Teach, and then having, I think it was Nero and Capsule were the other 2, like, the 2 rookies that they started off their careers in the CDL on there. Like, that was the perfect way to, like, build a team, in my opinion. Um, but, yeah, that's gonna get harder and harder to do as it goes on, especially when you're in a spot where there really is no reason for you to go there. You know, you're going to get players like, I mean, you see with Methods when he came in, it's like he came in on that team and that was the last org he played for. You know, like I think he kind of knew that he was at the end of his career. And same thing with like when they had Vivid on that team at one point. Like Vivid's not in the league anymore. Like these guys, they kind of end up going to those places as like their their like end destination, you know, like attached with Cloud9. Um, so some of those players that, you know, are maybe at the end of their career or they don't have anywhere else to go and that's their last resort. Yeah, you have to kind of get those people, but you also have to, in my opinion, I think what you do is you just really take a chance on these challengers players and you try to find these people early on, like you were saying with Vancouver, and hopefully not have a, you know, the year that they had afterwards, like from hero to zero. But yeah, get those players that and take a chance on, you know, like 4 rookies that look good in challengers and have that be your team. And try to build off of that and see if you can get the results. And yeah, the content part of it, I think for any organization now in Call of Duty, content and like that is number one. You know, it blows my mind that there's a lot of these orgs that just don't make content because you don't know any of these people. You know, people are loyal to teams for sure, but way more people are loyal to just players because they know them. You know, people like Dashy because he's funny, you know, and he's like a goofball. And same thing, like, you know, that's like it's not just the fact that he's on Optic. I mean, that is definitely part of it, but he would still have a loyal fan base if he went and played for Thieves or FaZe or whoever, you know? It's just based around the personality. But yeah, you see his personality all the time. A, because he does content on his own, and B, Optic makes sure to put it out. Like it's wild that that org, you know everybody on that org. You know everybody. And you can't like there's some I'll just say some. There's a lot of those teams. I can't name one person other than the players. Like I don't know who their coach is. I don't know anything about them. And it's a shame. And if you're going to be a new org getting in there, like to help bolster some of these people's careers and just like the I hate saying using this word like the aura around your team, you need to go and create content. Like again, look at Bush. That's exactly what they've done, and the fact that you know those people and people find them funny and they've had a lot of roster changes and you're still able to keep up with them and know them, it's a real testament to their strategy. And if you're gonna be a bottom team where, to your point, yeah, you know you're not gonna be winning games, like, it's not gonna happen, um, then you have to go to the second side of it where we take the challengers route, we maybe get good results out of it, but we really try to just build up some of these guys like as players, not just like personality wise, but also just as professionals.
Mhm.
And maybe be one of those teams that, yeah, you kind of send people off, which I know is tough, like
Mhm.
going into it, but you've got to be realistic,
Well,
like
yeah, no, exactly, and that's a problem with how the CDL is right now because you're not in optic phase or thieves. It's
right.
not. It's not going to happen. You don't have the funding for it. So when the Vancouver Surge example, yeah, Rambo got four great players because he saw that they worked well together, and now they were all sent off. Right, awesome. The fans hopped on that wagon, and then guess what? The following year, they're shit because they went and took a risk again for more people, and then people started booing the Oregon, saying, "Get the fuck out of here! You can't win." And look at C9. C9 was the only team that took a risk on all challenger players. Everyone says, "Get this fucking Oregon out of the league." They don't give a shit. Which, granted, they might not. From what we've seen, they don't. But you can't win. Yes, I agree with taking the risk of get four challenger players. But the only play I see in the CDL at this point for these teams coming in, you need to make content from the start that's non-negotiable, and you're revolving it around your team and players. And then when your team doesn't perform well, you rotate them out. You have to do
Yeah.
something like that because you're facing the challenge of okay, you need to make money somehow and you need to get your brand and name out there. But also, you need to be a contender in the league and try to compete with your four scrappy players that, you can barely afford. And then you got, you know, a bunch of fans and then other people saying, like, this is a dog shit org. They're not even trying to win. You got to pick one. Like
Right.
it's so hard to balance that. It's like, okay, you have to go down the content route. And then, people will say, why are you in the league then if you're only making content? Well, you can't grow the org without getting your name out there. And you can't just take the money and throw the fucking money at, star players. It's like, it's a give and take. Like there is a balance to it. And I think Vancouver Surge, they're like a great example of that, did it that 1 year. Um, and I just hate hearing people say, just, buy these players. I'm like, it doesn't fucking work like that, man. And then they get, people are like, oh, four is insane. Oh, booze is insane. Look at Neptune. Then they get sent off to these top teams. Great for that org. But now the following year, everyone's like, get that fucking org out of here. They're not
Right.
trying. Like, get the fuck out. That makes no sense. And look at Ultra Koi. They are that team where they produce and find talent and then they ship them off to um, another org, and then fans and people watching the CDL are like, "This team fucking sucks. They won't drop insight. They don't care about this league. All they care about is trying to make money." It's like, oh, well, how are you going to make money if you're getting these players and you can't keep them? Like, you think Merck's going to stand that fucking team when Optics offering him like a $300,000 contract? It's like, no. And of
Use your
course,
brain.
yeah, he's going to go and then you're going to make money off of it. But you have to pick between content and then you have to pick between why are you in the league? You're not trying. They're fucking trying. I'm sure a lot of these orgs are trying, but dude, if you only have a $200,000 budget, if that, for salaries, who are you going to get? Like you're going to get like me and you to sign for like, dude, 30K.
Yeah, right. Well, and to your point, because you bring up a good one regarding the following year, and that's the sustainability. You can have a chance that, yeah, maybe you have someone, and I think uh, with Vancouver when they invested in someone like Rambo, who has the knowledge of the game and of players and can kind of really craft a good team. I think having someone like that on your squad is invaluable. You know, you need to have someone like that because when you see the Cloud9 side where I think they were just kind of randomly picked and there
Mhm.
was really no thought to it, you see the end result. But if you have someone who has a really good eye for scouting out players and actually building a cohesive team, you can do it. And then you could maybe get one of those crazy years where, you know, again, Vancouver was terrible. And then they brought on those guys and I mean, they got second pretty much all year. It was unbelievable that they became one of the best teams. But yeah, the following year, and that's always the thing is how many times can you really do that? You know, yeah, there's plenty of talent that's in challengers from year to year, but is that what your org is going to be? Is just simply like you're always going to be a stepping stone team because you're not going to be able to put the money up to try to keep these people there for the long term. Like that's where the issue is. And yeah, with people and the fans just there's a lot of fans that are dumb. You know, in every sport, people don't really understand the logistics of it or what's going down, which is just sad. Because to your point, yeah, I think a lot of those orgs do care. You could make an argument, yeah, for maybe one or two, the lack of effort at times, sure. But the fact that they're invested in this and they are, paying these guys a salary and they're trying to actually win to some extent, I mean, man, they are doing the best they can. But yeah, it is a give and take. It's like some of those decisions, if you make one move, then a whole bunch of other dominoes fall into place, and that could screw you up for next year. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, we're already seeing that with Koi, to your point. There's people on that team, at least two players, or I not say two, at least three of those guys are probably not going to be on that org next year unless they're being paid a lot. And for sure, there's at least one guy like Abe, not Abe. Sorry, who's the guy I'm thinking of? I'm blacking out on his name. The guy who's insane on
X.
Koi right now. What's his name?
Kleenex.
Not
Kleenex.
Kleenex. Well, no, Kleenex will
Gibbs.
probably yeah, Kips, thank you. Yeah, Kips, like, he's so good, but are other teams gonna want him? Oh, for sure,
Mhm.
but are they gonna be able to like, Koi, are they gonna be able to pay more? Probably not. So they're gonna lose him,
Mhm.
and that's kind of the problem. They have like a team right now that's not bad. They've been close to getting there, but they're gonna get rid of him, and then more than likely Insight probably gonna be gone for next year. Kleenex, I'm sure he's gonna stay there. Abe, I would be mind blown if he stays at that team. So now they went from a year where they were almost there, like they were nearly at the top. They could have had a really competitive year and now they're starting basically from scratch again. And who knows what the next year is going to be for them. And
Yeah.
yeah, do they care? Do they not care? I'm like, yeah, obviously they do, but caring and mismanagement or making the wrong moves, those are uh two different thoughts.
Yeah, and I mean Koi, great example because like they had Joe DeCease, arguably the best player this year,
Yeah.
and they made it a very much a business decision. They knew that he's not signing with them again. He's at the peak, peak value probably at this point in his career. Sell him now so you can get money out of it. That's the way you do it in every other sport. I know it's not esports, but if that's a way to make money in this league. And if you want to stay in this league, you have to do that. You have to make those calls. And yeah, it's crazy, but look at Kips. Kips is I'm like positive Kips is on a 1+1, so he's going to be on that team again next
Okay,
year.
forgive me.
And he, I'm sure he's going to have another. If he has another great year after that, Koi can be like, "Yo, how much are you guys going to pay for him?" Like in the middle of the season, versus letting him just, all right, his contract's over, let him walk. You get nothing out of that
Hmm.
as a business, and it's just tough. Like you can't just. There's no one way because the CDL just as a product, having Optic, Thieves, and Phase just as like the top teams always because they just have the cash to do it is tough. And I mean, they can pay their players whatever they want because they got the cash for it. But I'm more speaking for like Boston if they're out. Like I hate seeing the slander against teams like that when they clearly tried, but you have limits. You don't have a huge pool of funding to go and get these players. And I mean, the first year when they got methods, you get a household name. They did the right thing. They did the right stuff. They tried mixing vets with rookies. It didn't work. The combination didn't hit. Um, and you bring in even like coaches that have like been in the league, like they know what they're doing. But at the end of the day, you're not going to hit every time. Like Rambo's fantastic coach, fantastic player. Yeah, he scouted those 4 guys and they worked perfectly together. It doesn't mean the following year it's going to happen again. And but then the whole league and him, like, they get slandered for whatever. And then yeah, and then players like, I don't know, anyone on FaZe. Like Crowder's been the coach for FaZe his entire career in the CDL. This was probably his most difficult year because it's one of his like newest rosters, and they fucking won COD champs. Like that's what a really really good coach does. And on top of that, he had the 3 insane players his entire career. Like it's really easy to coach and like help out these players when they're just insane. When you're on Breach and you have a bunch of young players, you can only do so much.
Right.
So it's like seeing the slander on Breach and just like other orgs in general, just it pisses me off because it's like, what? Say you have the money to go into the league. What's your model? What's your strategy? I'd love to hear it. Throw money at these fucking players because look at what Falcons did. It didn't fucking work. And then you hired Clay. I'm pretty sure Clay knows what the fuck he's doing and what the fuck he's talking about. All right. And he has Cell, Pred, and Kiz. 3 world champions. Didn't work. Like, you can't just throw
And
money.
And to that point, when they had Pred on there who was getting paid big time, and
Yeah,
then they bring on a Luca in his spot who I'm sure, he's getting decent money, but he's not getting Pred money, not
exactly.
even remotely close. And
Mm-hmm.
they're better. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's where again you take a risk like that and you go down that route of taking someone who, yeah, throughout the year people were talking about a Luca and being a really good player. But no one really made a move on him at the time. I think FaZe did pick him up as a substitute,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. But like that model of going down the route of taking amateurs and trying to build a team like that, that is really the only route that you've got when you're one of these bottom orgs and you don't have a lot of money.
And
But
make
yeah,
content around each of those players and
absolutely.
make fans follow their journey. Because if one person goes away, yeah, cycle in like another person. But now hopefully you can say, yes, you created content to help your side of the house, but now you can help like that player in their career.
Right. And think about how, like a Luca at Champs, how
Mhm.
when he gave his interview, everyone was just a fan of him because his personality came through, you know? And I know he's taking advantage of that, like being in streams and people like want to see more from him. One, because he is a good personality. But yeah, to your point, that's where when you see that stuff as an org, you're like, we need to like we need to keep doing stuff with this,
Mhm.
to help build our brand and help build this player up. Because if this player, people like him, that's gonna help us out.
Mhm.
But yeah, going back to your point regarding like Breach and the slander and any of these bottom teams, yeah, it's hard because you have your hands tied as to what you're going to be able to do at to a certain point. Yeah, I mean, it's not like these guys have infinite money glitch and they can just be spamming money at this because yeah, again, look at Falcons. Like they have a ton of money and it didn't work out, and who knows what they're going to be doing next year because, yeah, I'm sure they've learned from this experiment where they bought, or brought in pretty much all world champions. I mean, yeah, they did. And it didn't work out,
Mhm.
or minus Xnid. Like that's just you can't go about that way. And there's orgs at the bottom, they don't even have that money to make anything like that possible.
Mhm.
So yeah, you go and buy up some challengers players and you do well, maybe. But yeah, the sustainability part of it from year to year, what are you really going to do? And that's where I worry about that spot and just like who's going to come in and do that because I hope that it doesn't just end up like being a cycle where they come in, yeah, maybe they have that one good year, then they don't have a good year, then not another good year. And to your point, all the fans, dude, these guys, they paid $1 million to get shit on. Like they suck.
Mhm.
get him out of here. Like we need somebody else in. We need an org that actually cares. It's like, what are you really gonna do? And to that point, with the CDL model, like any big orgs that's out there, I mean, it's not really attractive for them to come in. I mean, going back to what we were saying with Barstool. I mean, you hear it from Dave himself. He's like, "What's the reason for getting into this? Like,
Mhm.
give me something."
Yeah, yeah.
I'm paying
Give me
the
real reasons.
yeah, it's like I'm not just like, "Oh, for the culture and, like, everything," and, like, the fans would love if Barstool was in there. It's like, yeah, okay, but people already love Barstool as is. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Why
like
does he
no
need to
one's
spend money?
this is a very small community of people that are
Mhm.
asking for this to happen, and what does he get in return? Like, loss of money, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah,
Like
and that loss, that spot, the last couple of spots going in, if this was our team, the COD Casuals coming in, what I'm doing is you go into it knowing that you're not going to get the best players and you're not going to win, and it's going to be a revolving door. You have to accept that, and that's fine. That I like in terms of the winning mentality. No, that's dog shit. Like you want to come in and win, obviously, but you can't come in like what COD fans want is some fucking multi-trillionaire to come in and be like, let me go buy Scrap, Abizi, Hydra, and then Neum. Guess what? They didn't fucking win champ, so it doesn't matter. You just paid them all this money and they lost. Like, or are you gonna get Scrap, Hydra, Abizi, Simp? Are they gonna win? You don't know. You can just keep throwing money at it. What's the point for whatever org to come in? Or you can come in. Oh, let me back up. So that team, the fans' perspective is, oh yeah, these guys are trying because they're spending so much money. They're trying to win. They care about a championship. Okay, that's valid. But then you get you get us coming in. We don't have a budget like that, and we pick up, say Bush's team. Okay, Bush's team, and if they're playing against like a top 5 team in CDL, they're getting cooked. All right, a lot of those Bush players went to Boston, getting cooked.
mhm,
You have to understand that they're going to lose. You need to build content off of that, and it's going to be a revolving door. And you have to accept that you will place the best that you can get. But while you're doing that, you need to do everything you can to make content around these players, around your org to get it out there. But you will be branded as a team that, oh, you don't care because you're revolving players. And the model is just hard when it's so top heavy in terms of like cash flow. Because like you look at like C9 right now, they could just keep swapping in and out players, but they'll still be known as an org that doesn't care because they're the bottom org. Oh, you picked up a random player like Beans coming in. Everyone's like, you just picked up another recycled player for G2. Who cares? But they're making moves. Isn't that what people want? And then they back up and they're like, but you picked up Beans. It doesn't do anything. It's like as long as you're constantly making changes at the bottom, you clearly it shows that they care because they're at least making changes. And from this year with Breach, hindsight, they probably should have just made it a revolving door and just kept making changes. Because when you see changes, you can tell, all right, they care. But because they're a bottom org, people are saying they don't care because they're a bottom org and they're not trying to win. Like, look, they dropped Snoopy. They're like, oh, they don't really care to win. I look back at the Thieves team in Cold War.
yeah,
That team recycling players and just switching them in and out because they are a championship team. They're trying to win. But the reason why they're branded as that is because look at the name. Like they are trying to win. But then when you take that and apply that to a bottom tier team, no, this team and org doesn't give a fuck because they're picking up no names out of challengers. And look, if Boston picked up Bush's team right now and they're the Boston Breach and they get shit on, no one, everyone's gonna be like, get this fucking team out of here. They're not good. I'm like, you were just cheering for the Bush's team in amateurs, and now you're not because they're the Boston Breach. And I think you can get away with making that content as amateurs. because it is just a revolving door. Like it's a bunch of drama, like the Stallions, the Bush, P7, like all these teams, players are just going in and out of these teams. So it's fine. But then for whatever reason, when they get into the bottom tier of the league and when those professional teams do it, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, and I even remember because I was thinking of when you were talking there, I was thinking of that Cold War year with Thieves too, and I even remember that they were getting cooked for making too many changes. Like
Mhm.
they were like, dude, you can't let this team rock for a little bit. Like you're constantly switching it up and you're screwing up with the flow. It's like you can't win. You can't win with some of these people.
Mhm.
But
And you don't
I'm
have
always
time.
exactly. You know, the season is to what we were saying in the beginning. I mean, the year goes by quick. And they don't play a lot of matches, nowhere near as much as like they used to during the CWL. So the amount of time that you have to really make decisions is finite, and that's where I think teams kind of fall into favor or out of favor with fans depending on changes that they make and how hastily they make them. Like I do agree, I think Boston should have been a bit quicker with making decisions than they were. There was a lot of moves that people were clamoring about, pretty much from the beginning, and they just didn't. Now, that's obviously the debate, right? What do? Do you trust in your players and you hope that they get it together? Or do you say, fuck it, and you pull the pin on that grenade and you make changes all the time? And Thieves did that this year too with Kenny for Neum. Like that was the move. They brought him in, they gave him like a couple of chances, being like, dude, you got to give us something here. And then that's when they make the call and people respect it. But yeah, it's a risk that you run because what if Neem came in and he was horrible, you know? And it's like, dude, you drop Kenny for this guy. It's just, that's how these people go. They're the armchair fans of, trying to see these players, whether they're good or not good. And hindsight is always 2020 when it comes to this stuff. But I do I do think that from me, as a fan, I do like to see teams that they give players a chance. They're not making moves every 5 seconds, but they they can see the writing on the wall after a while and be like, yeah, we got to make a change here because this just isn't where we're going. Because to your point, yeah, seeing change to me shows that they care. And I think people when they see that they're sticking with a roster, instead of them seeing them as believing in their team, they just think of that as complacency and like, oh, we don't want to have to deal with trying to get somebody else and trying to do all that. I think that's how a lot of people end up seeing it. Which, yeah, I mean that is a side. There are some orgs that definitely got
Mhm.
complacent and were just like, put their hands up saying, "Oh, it is what it is. What are you gonna do?" When it's like,
Well,
bro,
yeah,
we're
yeah,
we're here to compete. Like,
yeah, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. There's two sides of it, right? Like you have to know as a bottom work, you are not making it.
which
That
is fucked.
sucks. It's
Yeah.
fucked. Yeah, no, it is fucked. But it'd be different if Optic Shotzi's making 60K, Scrap's making 60K, uh, Purge is making 60K. That's shitty for the players, awful for the players. But as a franchise, like as a league, everyone's on an even playing field, and but that's not fair to Thieves. That's not fair to Optic. Like, how come they have to be capped out because a new org coming in isn't, they didn't put in the work to create that. Like, why should they get an edge because of that? Because they're new.
Right.
Um, there's just so many factors, and to the point of like changing teams, like I feel like the perspective just shifts when it's like a Thieves and Optic, and then a C9, a Koi, like lower teams breach. Because when Thieves make a change, it's like, okay, finally they need to make a change, and they did it. If Breach makes a change, everyone's like, well, who are you going to pick up? Like, why did you make the change? And I think when you're at the bottom, you're like, yeah, it's tough calls, but go make the change, but not like one change, like rotate a player out. Like, it's not going to work, rotate two, get three. Like, just keep making these changes and then pump out content for it. Because the more times you try, some are going to stick at some point, And, people can say, oh, they're not a winning team because look at them. They're just a revolving door. But would you rather them stick with a team that's not doing anything and not make any content? And they're like, this is a championship built team. Or would you rather them have a revolving door? They are considered trying because they are, but you're not going to get a top name player, and they're pumping out content on top of that to try to get these players. I mean, Breach had Ghosty. They had Kremp. Kremp is probably going to be on like a top 4 team next year for sure.
Mhm.
Um, they had Nero. Trying to think. They had, I mean, Snoopy. Snoopy definitely is going to be in the league next year, 100%. Like,
I hope so, yeah. I mean,
and
I think it'd be crazy if he's not.
yeah, like there are a lot of top players that came out of the Boston camp. Imagine if they, if it was way more content on top of that, and like they did it, they made content, but um, look at these guys now; they're flourishing. They're gonna be on like top teams. So I don't know. I went on like a yap sesh. It's so annoying to me. See, like no one here like runs a fucking business. Like yeah, I don't think anybody here like understands like, dude, Clay's position. Everyone's like, well, Clay, don't you have unlimited money, dude? Look, I'm pretty sure the Saudis have like a ton of money too, but imagine, dude, if I paid Pred like $500,000 and then fucking a Luca comes in and I'm paying this guy 50, I'm pissed.
Oh, yeah, of
Like
course.
in my head, I'm like, I'm an idiot. I just spent so much money and invested in this person that should have hit and did it. They didn't do what they're supposed to do. Like, and then at for you, like that's an awful business decision. You could have used that money for something else, like maybe hold an event.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's where, like, learning from that lesson, that's where the idea of, if you have whatever team comes in for a breach, if this ends up going through, which again, it seems to be highly likely this is going to be happening for next year. But whoever ends up coming in, I think you really should adopt that mentality of, again, throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what
No,
sticks.
hire me as a director. I'll help.
Like, because, if you're gonna be doing that and you keep running it by some, just getting, multiple players in and out, you're gonna get one of those guys,
Mhm,
that ends up more than likely you'll get one person in there that's actually pretty good. Even with C9, like they have was it Okiz on that team? People are
mhm.
like, I think it was
Or
him. I could be
Nezra.
yeah, or
Who's
Nejbr.
who's good?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, where it's like, dude, they've like had a horrible year, but they do have one sign of light from it. It's like, okay, we did get a player from this year that's actually pretty good, you know?
Mhm,
And there's plenty of challengers players down in the bottom who I'm sure are like untapped potential right now, or people that are going to be coming in next year. That yeah, if you were some bottom org team and you wanted to sign those guys, I'm sure they'd take it, you know.
mhm,
Whether it's good for them or not, like, that's a whole other thing. But there's plenty of talent down there where if you're a bottom org like that, I think that really is your only option is you have to go and just run the risk of doing this because yeah, it does suck that you're not going to win. You have to know that coming in unless you're some massive org that has a ton of money behind it. Like if Envy came in, that's a different story, you know. But it's still if you're going to come into one of those spots there and you're just not a juggernaut team, you have to adjust your expectations and really play the long game, which again,
mhm,
that's what I'm really hoping for with this whole thing is that whichever org, whoever they are that comes in, I hope that they have a good strategy for the long term because we don't want to see it be this like revolving door of teams that every couple years they come in and then it's gone and it's like it was a big deal when Breach came in,
mhm.
because that was a brand new team. It wasn't like a rebrand or we had a spot that kind of like transferred. Seeing that team come in was like it was a big deal. It was cool. And they did a really good job. And it sucks that they're gone now, but they did
Not
have
officially, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
at the
Yeah,
end of
right.
the day, what it comes down to for these teams is money. Like
Right.
that's what it is. That's why, to your point, like the revolving door of new investors, it's money. And for people to say, "Oh, you don't care," Breach cared. They just ran out of money, and that's because of how the CDL's like
There's
built
nothing you can
right
do
now.
about it.
Yeah, it's like, bro, if they, I am positive they paid their players as much as they could within reason. That's not enough for some of these players because there's top orgs that are throwing in more. Um, I just want whatever team to come in, please keep the Boston like branding or something.
I
I'm
hope
sure
so,
they're
bro.
gonna rebrand, but like if
Yeah.
you can keep the Boston Breach branding, that'd be cool. But like before we switch over to like just Black Ops 7 in general, but like if I came into the league, I would make this team very scrappy. Like ideally, depending how much money you have, you get all these guys locally, these 4 guys into like I'm talking like not even a house, a fucking apartment. You guys are share. It's a 2 bed, 2 bath. You're sharing rooms, all right, and you guys are competing. Um, Org pays for their living. They pay for their food, but I'm talking you're eating Chipotle and shit. You're not going out to these fancy dinners. You run it very low, and you're making content on all of that. And then um, outside of that, yeah, you pay them, a salary, probably not 50, 60K, because you're paying for housing and you're paying for all their travels and stuff. But you give these young 18-year-olds like an opportunity to just try it out, and then you just make a fuck ton of content. Like you literally hire a cameraman, put them inside that apartment
They live
and
next
let them,
door.
yeah, no, literally, and then film all of it, all the ups and downs, and then if one player is gone, they decide to move on, bring someone else in,
Mhm.
and you have to build a culture. I think that's why all these like fan favorites, they have culture. You have to build a strong culture within that team, and that's how you make it appealing. Because the only way you can make your new team appealing, it's not the money because you don't have it. It's like it's a culture of that team, like who owns it, how they manage the team, if they get along with all the players, if the players all get along with each other. That's how you do it. You need to build your culture up and then just run it very low in terms of how much you're spending. And the players, I've heard it from like Zuma and a lot of these other guys, like, dude, they're kids. They're fucking childish. And you got to deal with that somehow.
Mhm.
Um, you're dealing with a lot of bullshit because they're just kids and people are sketching out or whatever. But that's the way that I would go about it.
What's your rate,
It
Justin?
my rate, I mean, we can negotiate that outside of this. We
That's
can
up for
take it off.
debate. It's up for debate.
Yeah, yeah. If a team wants help, I'm there for it. um, but yeah, I know I went off because I'm very like passionate about it because I hate seeing the slander on. Some teams deserve it. I understand. Like,
Yeah.
what's the point of coming into a league if you're not trying to win? But it all starts off with how the CDL was built. It's not fair to these new orgs coming in when you can only afford the bare minimum. Like you get the scraps, and
Yeah.
like model is go invest in a coach, like a very good coach, like a slasher or something, like someone that's won, and tell them who do you want. Like, give me 4 players. Like your job is to go research these AMs and form the best team that you can, and you invest money into him.
Right.
And that's like your best way of balancing. All right, produce content and make revenue, and potentially being that Vancouver surge and potentially like upsetting big teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you can hope for, right?
Yeah.
Is that you end up replicating what they did that year. But no, I mean, dude, it's important to necessarily spew on about it. It's like it's degrading it. Like
I'm passionate,
it
man.
no, I
Yeah.
know, but like, and that's the thing though, man, because also too, like this is a big deal, you
Mhm.
know? Like I really do feel like it's a huge turning point, and it's going to be something that the league is going to have to, learn from and just see like in the subsequent years here to see what happens. Again, barring that this does happen. Um, you know, like these bottom teams here, this is really going to showcase what it's like. We have those teams that are in there, and Falcons was a real rare one where they came in with a ton of money. But having another org that's going to come in, or like the potential 2 orgs that we're offering, are not massive orgs. And is that really what that's going to end up being, those spots down there where it's just a revolving door? Or is it going to be like, are we going to see some sort of grassroots effort from one of these teams that actually takes your advice, barring they pay you? Like, if
Mhm.
what happens with that, who really knows? But I think it's going to be, it could either be a really positive or a very negative reflection of the model that they have right now, if it isn't already apparent to people. that money is everything,
Mhm,
especially in the CDL. It is everything. If
mhm.
you don't have money or you don't have investors, it's basically wraps,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
and how do you pitch to investors like, "Hey, we're paying
well,
these guys 50K a
yeah,
year, and, well, we just won a championship, but we made no money." Like,
right,
nothing,
right.
and you're paying them to fly out everywhere, and so how do you swing that? How do you tell that story to them? It's like,
Again, like, I say it again, to Dave Portnoy's thing. I saw a lot of people roasting this dude, saying all this stuff. It's like he doesn't even know what he's talking about. I'm like, he's a businessman, bro. Like
what yeah, what
it's
do
like,
they bring to the table to help him?
yeah, it's like, that really is what it's going to come down to. Like, is this going to make money? Yes or no? And if
Mhm,
it's not going to make money, then what is the real reason that I'm going to get into this? Am I going to make money, X amount of years down the line? Like, what do I really get from this?
mhm,
Like, well, hosting events. Okay, that's great, I guess, for the community, but that doesn't
mhm.
do anything for like my bottom line,
Yeah, yeah. If
like,
it's a passion project, like, yeah, that's great, but at the end of the day, it comes down to how much money can you put into this, and you have to know, within the first couple of years, you're burning money.
oh yeah,
Like, and it will be a revolving door of teams. Like, if it's gonna be like this, COD needs a reset, but that's not good for the players. Like, I want the players to be paid, fairly. I mean, do I think Scrap should be getting paid the same amount as, like, not trying to slander anyone, but like,
purge,
uh, yeah, like Purge? No, not at all. Like, Scrap should be making way more because he deserves it.
right,
Um, and he's earned it, even though he didn't win the ship. But like, that would suck for the players if it went back to, all right, you're only making a couple hundred. Like, if those guys went to making like, you're making like 5, 6K a month, that's way more sustainable than what's happening right now. And new orgs can come in and like get, decent players.
right.
Um, but new orgs right now, they're coming in, dude, they can't afford that. Like, you're already getting screwed from the beginning, and now you have a whole fan base coming in, and they're already like shitting on you because you're not trying to win.
Right.
You're already at a disadvantage. And yeah, but I see it from the other side too. It's like Optic, FaZe, these should not be capped. There should not be a cap on them because they succeeded. But how are you going to help the other guys? It's
Right.
like, again, the way that Breach did it, the fact that they got a household name like Methods, they signed a big name, and like Methods was good, was awesome. It didn't work. But how long can you burn that money? Like, every single year, like Slasher Priesta, we thought that was crazy, like, insane, great signings, didn't work. How long can you burn that? I'm like, telling someone that's investing into the league, like, oh hey, by the way, it's been 4 years. The best we've ever placed was third at champs. And also, by the way, we hosted 2 majors and made no money.
Tough sell.
Yeah, very, very tough sell. But the fans, but for Call of Duty, it's like, yes, I'm sure some of these guys like want to go in for the culture and stuff, but there is no culture if you can't be sustainable.
Yeah.
Hire
I
me.
mean, yeah, that says it all right
Yeah.
there, you know? Yeah, it's a very delicate situation that a
Send
lot
this
of
to
these,
Ben and
yeah,
Zuma.
yeah,
Get us
that
on.
they're that's where they're involved in, and
Yeah.
um it's going to be interesting to see what ends up transpiring from all of this. I don't know what the future is going to hold for those spots. But I do know for a fact that whichever way it goes, whether it's positive or negative, it is going to be eye opening. If it's like whatever org comes in, if they're able to pull it off, then that just shows that there is a model, like, or there is a way, a strategy to actually make this successful, long term. Or it could be again the opposite, which is what nobody is hoping for, where these orgs, or we're going to potentially have orgs coming in like every couple of years where it's just, it's nonsense. And nobody cares about it. The fans don't care about it. The players are just desperate trying to, collect the bag, or maybe just showcase some talent that they could hope and pray that another spot will open up on a different team. Um, like that doesn't do anything for the league. Those you hate to be a team where nobody wants to watch that match. Like when you see it's
Yeah.
going to be like, oh, these two teams are playing, like, yeah, forget it, bro. Like, who cares?
Mhm.
I don't even want to watch that. Like
Yeah.
that is the last thing that you want to have in your league is matches that are literally worthless dog shit. And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
unfortunately, you have that now, but we
Mhm.
don't need any more of that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the
And
worst.
I mean, I think about being the owner of the org at that point. It's like you're
Right.
bottom of the league. No one wants to watch your matches because there is no stake on it. And then like Octane, Zuma, Ben, like all these guys are so much bigger. Like, yeah, there isn't. Like these guys are dog shit. It's not worth watching. Like that holds weight, regardless what they think. It does hold weight, and
Absolutely.
it sucks. Like, and I like to imagine. I don't. Speaking for Breach, they came in with passion. They came in because they wanted to win and they cared about this. And I'd like to think more investors, especially now trying to come in, they care about this thing. But you can only survive for so long if you don't have money.
Yeah.
And that's just a shame. Like I feel like a lot of people are doing this out of pure passion, but passion only can go for so long if the revenue isn't coming in, and that's where I see that revolving door of, teams coming in, they're like, I can do it. I got the passion. I got it. But then they just burn through all their money.
And then that leads to, the lack of drive and lack of passion, and then you're basically in just the hole. And then you're trying to sell your spot for 500,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
And then the next team will come up, next org. It's like, I have passion for this. I'm going to get it
and
done.
yeah, and it's a
And it
vicious
kills
cycle.
kills their passion.
Yeah.
The league needs to be restructured at the end of the day. That's what it needs to.
Mhm.
Um, will it? Who knows? Because I mean, dude, if I'm Scrapper Dashy, hell no. You're telling me I lose my 300K salary? Now I got to go make 100? No. But
Explain the upside to me for that.
yeah, yeah. Like I really think there will be a reset or something. Maybe not that drastic, but something has to happen there because
Something's got to give.
yeah, because it's just hard for these other teams to come in, and it's probably don't franchise this league, make it completely open again. You can pay players what they want, whatever.
Mhm.
These players can get paid that bag, or players can be making $100 a month. How bad do you want it?
Right.
Like I don't think the league itself, the idea of the league wasn't bad. The way that they executed it, awful, horrendous.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. And we can transition to our games in Black Ops 7 and then
Smooth transition.
BO7 for us. We've been playing a lot more. We've been frying.
Continuing.
Matchmaking though hasn't been that great for us after the most recent update.
Yeah, I mean, we got to quickly touch on this because we did in our last episode we talked about it with the open and the classic matchmaking, whatever. And I remember putting in the Discord asking, like, just not only the matchmaking necessarily, but any of the changes that they've made, some of this stuff, if people really notice it. I've seen stuff where people are talking about the movements way different and some of the matchmaking, and it's kind of been a mixed bag. Saying that yeah, there's some changes I notice it, not really. Dude, the matchmaking again, it's just continued to go downhill for us. Like I was saying to you before we started, I mean, bro, it's just I'm joining in these games that are halfway through, and there's basically nobody on my team getting absolutely slammed. And I played a game again today. I remember when I was looking at the shorts for one of the last episodes, talking about the hindsight or thinking like, oh yeah, I don't remember games ending in forfeit. Again, like today, it ended in forfeit. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, this just never used to happen. This is something that happens pretty much daily for me, if not daily, like every other day that I'm playing this game, matches are going that way where people just all end up leaving. They don't autofill. Um, it does suck quite a bit. I will say I do get matches for sure that are good. I get the mix of good matches and like tough matches, but man, there is way too many of those games sprinkled in where it's just nonstop leaving, nonstop, like, not filling or just forfeits, and, I don't know why they made this change, like, it was okay before, like, stop messing with stuff, especially
Yeah,
at
yeah.
this. Maybe they're doing it, Justin, because 'cause they're like, "Oh, it's the end of the year, we're just gonna try shit," like, no one cares.
I don't
But
know.
I'm
Yeah,
like, "Dude, we're
maybe,
here.
but
Stop it."
also part of it too is like I think, dude, players just don't care. There's no accountability in some of these pub players, Mike. They want to grab their beer and play. They're
Yeah,
like, I'm getting
yeah,
stomped by Justin and Mike. Fuck that. I'm leaving. And then they can go restart again. I'm like, how about you get banned for 10 minutes?
yeah, I
Fuck it.
mean, dude.
I was in Tyler's T Dog's stream like a couple days ago. And he's talking about like hackers and stuff. And I was like, dude, if you get caught hacking or like something like that, they need to fucking blow up your console or PC. A virus needs to be sent to your PC where it's broken, it's locked or something, or you're banned from COD forever. Something like it has to be harsh, or like something crazy happens where they catch someone hacking, they get sent to jail, literally. Like something like that has to happen. Someone has to be made an example.
Dude, there needs to be accountability with these people, you know?
Yeah,
It's again, it's about the principle. It's
this
like,
is not
dude,
a
I
democracy.
yeah. It's like, bro, that the overlords at Activision, they need to put their foot down. It's like they got
Yeah.
the authority on some of these people. Like they need to shape some of these people in the way that they conduct themselves. Cause yeah, I mean, dude, there's plenty of games that I'm playing. I'm getting fried. You know, they got like a six stack on there, level 1000s, swarms going crazy. And I'm just like, I'll just take it. I'll take it. This is only, 10 minutes. It's probably only going to last 5 minutes or so. Like, and I'll get some kills. And these guys, like, yeah, they got that swarm. Like, they must be good players. Let me just like get some kills on these guys instead of just the instant, nah, screw this, and just dashboard and get out of there. To me, I'm over that, bro. You know, I get it with ranked, absolutely you should be penalized for it, like really harshly. But I think for pubs too, it's like, man, that should be way more frowned upon because it
Mhm.
just seems like now, all these matches, especially with the way the matchmaking is, yeah, you get left in the mud. Like no one's
Mhm.
left. All these people just instantly say, screw it, I'm done. And then I'm left by myself. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be one of those losers too. Like, I'm just gonna stay in this and take it because this is only gonna be 2 more minutes of my life in this
Mhm.
lobby. Like, I really don't care.
And you want a full game because if you back out and load back in, odds are you're probably loading into another game, like middle of a game. Which, by the way, that needs to change. Like if you're loading in, you should be loading into a new game every time, um, if that's even possible. Like that would be ideal, right? You're not loading in and you're just getting pounded. Yeah, you're losing like 200-5 in hardpoint. Like that,
Yeah.
yeah. But because then you can like reset. Again, I think COD players are they're just nuts, right? Like they're a lot of them are quitters, they're haters, they think they're the best in the game, they're not, and they go into game, they're getting pounded. No, 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 no. I'm much better. I'm leaving the game though,
Yeah, I
and they
mean,
don't get penalized. Like something just I don't know, something just needs to happen because it is very annoying when you load into a game like midway. I understand you load into a game midway and you're just getting destroyed. But yeah, to your point, I'm like, I might as well just stay because the game's about to be over in a couple of minutes, and then I get a fresh start of a new game again. Whereas if you back out and load back in, you're probably going to be in the middle of another match.
well, and the frustration for me too with that is that if I'm joining into a game like that where it's, you know, it's we're getting slammed and there's nobody in there, like, and no one's filling in,
Mm-hmm.
and it just stays there. Or maybe again, yeah, there are people that do join to the point of, yeah, it is frustrating where these people join in, they look at the score, they die by a swarm like off rip, and they back out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the lobbies just don't stay, you know. So then that's where for me, I'm like, dude, we could at least try. Like, we could make this a lot less of an issue if there were six of us playing against six people instead of it being a 2v6 with all this nonsense going on. Like, that's where for me it's just it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Um and yeah, it would be ideal to join into a fresh game all the time, but I do remember too, there were times back in like back in the old CODs where I would join into a game, and like back then, yeah, when I was like 14, I was a dashboarder, no doubt. I would leave a game and then I would jump back in to go find a game, and I join the same match,
Mhm.
and I would do it like 3 times and get so pissed off. But eventually, I would just stay.
Mhm.
I'd be like, fine, this is what it is. And I'm like, maybe, maybe that was their strategy for them to hold you accountable. Be like, oh, you want to back out? Well, you're gonna join in, and it's gonna be even worse now.
Mhm.
And that's like, you leave again. Oh, guess what, buddy? That domination game, it's still going on.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just stay in there. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
what I would do. But yeah, it would be great if you could find a new match all the time, but you got to have the players, and
Yeah, yeah.
they got to have all that stuff
Well,
figured out.
and I think it should just be like that, or join a game that's within the first minute of starting,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
something like that, or two, if that's not feasible. Because I think that's where most people, they just go insane. As soon as you load in and you know you're not on an even playing field, you just chalk it up. You're like, I'm never gonna win. I'm leaving. I'm gonna quit. If you load into my mentality, if I load into a new game, it's I can fry them or I'll get fried.
I
It's
would
You're on an even playing field right away.
I'm laughing because I was thinking about that when when I was playing today. I was on Hacienda. Dude, I was flying. I was feeling like Shotzi over here, not even remotely close, but I was feeling good. And I remember this guy. It was legit beginning of the game. He ran out from like the stairs that side where he was spawning. Um, and I went and I don't know how I beat him there. He must have been just looking mid, but I slid like sideways and I was shooting him as I slide and I killed him. Oh, he immediately left. Just he
Mhm,
dashboarded out of there. And I was like, bro, you died one time. Like
mhm,
that's it. But just the way that he saw that he died, he got so pit. No, I'm not dealing with that. I'm done.
mhm.
You know? And that's to your point. I'm like, dude, are you really that soft? Like, are you just see
Quitters.
yeah, it's like, dude, I'm one guy on the team though, you know? And it's like, I'm not over here saying I'm some god at the game or anything. I'm like, bro, I'm one guy. There's 5 other people. Like, you
Mhm,
could still, I'm not going to win this game single handedly. Like, you may be decent, but
mhm,
the dude just immediately gives up. To
mhm.
me, I laughed. I was like, bro, you suck. Like, now
Yeah,
I know you suck because
yeah, yeah.
that pissed you off so hard. And it wasn't even some crazy thing,
Mhm. Like,
But quitters, though.
yeah, I know I've done it before, like when I was younger for sure, but the odds of me straight up just leaving a game like from the start, very very slim. Like if I'm playing a game and I'm like already 5 minutes into the game, dude, there's no chance I'm leaving. At that point, it's almost over. Like, what's the point of that? Because if you're one of those people that just straight up leave, say you play for 2 hours, you're probably only getting in 4 games in,
Yeah.
like full games. And those 4 games, you're probably thinking, I'm God, I'm stomping on everyone. And then, but you left like the other 10.
Right.
And it's just really frustrating when there are players like you and me that stay in, uh, and we're trying to get out of it. Or the worst is you join a game and you're like, no, these guys suck. We can win. And you're trying so hard to come back and you're getting there. But the other teammates are like, nah, these guys are too good. There's no chance we're going to win. So they just
Yeah.
leave. That's
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah, and again, the matchmaking doesn't really help any of this. You know, it's it kind of caters to like people being allowed to do that and get away with it, and then it punishes people who want to end up staying, which sucks. Because yeah, you and me are gonna just stick it out because it's very short and it is what it is. We can get something out of it, try to salvage some sort of semblance of, you know, working on our shot or a challenge, whatever it may be. But um yeah, it's not a really good system that they have right now. And I know they're trying to like fix this for MW4. And when the beta comes out, like talked about that with the skill base, they're going to be dialing that down a lot. Like, thank God, because
Mhm.
you know, I don't want to be going through that solo, just getting slammed
Mhm.
every single match. But yeah, the matchmaking for pubs, for us or other people who are listening, like if they feel it as well. But I remember when you were texting me about it, I wasn't playing, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, let me go try it. And then when I played it today, Oh yeah, like I really notice it. It's bad. Um, so it's sad that Black Ops 7 is like right at the end here. We're like we're so close, but they're
Yeah,
they're just messing with stuff. I'm like, no, no,
yeah.
please.
I
Like
I like
we still
I
have to give our end of year review, and you're hurting it.
I think if you're a solo player, you're the person, you come back from work, you're tired, you want to get a couple of games in, with your dinner and drink, whatever, and you're like the dude on the steps that quit after one game. You know what you should do? Go load up a private match, and go shoot some rookie bots. That's what
Yeah,
you should do, and then call it a day.
like you were
If
saying.
you're that much of a quitter, go do that.
Yeah, and don't do it at the detriment of your team. Like now you
Yeah,
just left. I'm like, thankfully that spot did fill. I'm like, but
yeah,
yeah, now they're down 5v6. I'm like, now you're getting like screwed big time,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
It's just, I don't know. I truly believe that stuff just carries into people's lives. Like, and
I think
so,
it does too.
I
I
mean,
think
I'm not quitting.
no,
Screw
no.
that. If I can come back and I can make that comeback happen, it's the best feeling.
Oh yeah. That again, that's what we live for, you
Yeah,
know? And like sometimes you win some, you lose some. It is
yeah,
what it is. But don't just call it quits the second there's adversity. This is Call of Duty advice, but this is also life advice.
yeah, yeah. How many of you guys listening are quitters? Do you want to be a quitter? Because I know for a fact the people that are in our Discord are not quitters.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to be a quitter, go join the Discord because we're always having like pretty good conversation over there. I mean,
Yeah.
these the conversations we have, we're talking to normal people. It's always insane, like seeing comments saying like I don't know, just saying stupid stuff about us, and then we go to our Discord and we're having a normal conversation with normal people. I'm like, where are you guys, man?
Yeah,
In the
I mean
Discord, obviously.
that's the dichotomy of COD players, you know. I mean, you've got some that are normal people. There's some people that are just out of their minds. You know, they're on their own planet. I mean, that's and
Mhm.
again that translates to this translates to the world. There's some people out there you could talk to them, and there's some people it's just
Mhm.
like, oh,
Oh yeah,
like
no, oh
what
like
planet are you on, bro?
last thing, I was playing on Fringe. I was playing Dom, and a kid on my team. He must have been like, if I had to guess, like 13 to 16, if that. And
Okay.
um, he got on the mic, like he was quiet for half of the match, and I'm frying. And he's like, Jay Yin, what are you using? Like, you need to give me your class, whatever, trying to talk to me. And uh, after the match, like, because if you don't leave the lobby, you queue up with the same people over again.
Mhm.
Um, the enemy team, they actually stayed because it was a four stack, but they were shit talking me the whole time. And then this kid like said, I forget what he said. He said something about me, like trying to defend me. And these guys were like, "Yo, shut the fuck up! Who are you?" And I'm like, "Dude, see, this is how I know society's shocked because, like, I agree with this little ass kid. You're a grown man. Like, for sure, those guys, like, at least 21, grown fucking men just like yelling at a 13 to 16-year-old. And this 16-year
Right.
old, like this kid's asking me like, what class are you using? Like, what should I use? How should he was like, how do you jump from here to here? What's your timing?
Right.
This dude's trying to learn. I'm like, you're gonna
Right.
succeed. These
Right. Right.
guys,
Right.
like, they're already chalked from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's all about the mentality.
Yeah.
It,
I,
you
I
gotta have
I
that
just think it's
mentality to learn.
I think it's wild seeing like little kids. I'm like, you're better off than, these straight up adults.
Yeah. No, it is sad. It is sad.
Very sad.
Some people can't conduct themselves when they're on the game.
Oh, they're on the sticks.
It's like, man, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
And
And
your
I think
ass too.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're not even good, bro.
yeah, like the four of
Right.
you, your ass, just
Yeah.
you're yelling at a little kid.
Yeah. It's terrible. But you can't change those people. They are who they are,
Nah,
unfortunately.
like I'm not gonna go on a rant about it, but it's just insane to me because I'm like, you're yelling at a kid. So imagine
Yeah, yeah,
seeing like a grown man screaming at like a 13-year-old out in
yeah.
public, just fucking yelling crazy shit.
But
Like,
on the
no,
game, it's cool.
yeah, like I don't know, man. That stuff, it's gonna come for them. Karma's gonna come for them.
I hope people listening ain't people like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I ain't talking to anybody other than you in a game. Like, I don't
Yeah,
talk to
yeah,
nobody. I don't got nothing to
yeah,
say. Like,
yeah,
like I'm just in my own world. I don't need to be chirping people. Like, I'm pushing 30, bro. I don't need to I don't
yeah,
need to
yeah.
start talking nonsense to people, you
We're
know.
grown, all right.
Yeah,
We're
like
grown. When ranked, if people are shit talking, fine.
yeah.
Like I get it. It's being
I'll
competitive.
chat. I'll type it in chat.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Um,
know.
but yeah, I know people in our Discord aren't like that. So if you're
No.
a decent human being, go join the Discord
That's
and talk COD with us. And let me
that's
know
good
too
stuff.
for CDL if you think you wouldn't hire me at all to be a director because my ideas are just completely stupid and irrelevant. But let me know down in the Discord. And if you're on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Go over there, leave a comment down below of what do you think about the spot. Feel like it was a lot of yapping this episode, which it's always good. So,
Yeah, but again, like we were saying before, I mean, I think this is a really interesting debate that we end up having, just talking about it, because it really is going to be for the future of the CDL and just with the model in general. That I know a lot of people have an opinion, whether it's positive or negative about it. So yeah, be sure to let us know, like whether you think we're on the right track, or you're like maybe something that we missed or we're out of our minds. Like, do let us know, because again, there's many different opinions on it. And I'm like-minded and I'm open-minded to hearing people's thoughts on it, because yeah, we don't know all, but as fans, this is our perception of it,
mhm.
and I think everyone listening is a fan, so let us know what you think about it. And again, if we're crazy, you better back it up. Don't just say that's stupid. Be like, tell me why, bro.
Banned is a loose term, Mike.
Yeah, yes, yeah, yes,
Yeah,
this is true, this is
clip
true.
that. As someone clip it, send it to Zuma and Ben.
Fans is
Next episode, they're like, "Who the fuck are these guys? The COD Casuals? They're saying stupid shit."
yeah.
Could you imagine?
What can you do about it?
So someone send this to them. See what they
Yeah.
say. We're gonna get cooked by the Zoom Mafia.
Mm.
But yeah, make sure to go to anchor.fm/the COD Casuals. We're on all streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, all that stuff. If you don't want to listen to the whole thing, we clip it up and post it on Instagram Reels, TikTok too. So make sure to go over there, and 5-star rating on Spotify, all the platforms. It does help us out a ton. And make sure to follow us because we're trying to get to that 1,000 follower mark, especially on Spotify. Like we're there. Like just
Hmm.
need a little bit of a bump. So, and I know
Yep,
more than 1,000 of you guys are listening, every month. So definitely go follow there.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it, man.
Yep. So thank you, everyone. This has been episode 286 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.